Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's another hot and humid day here. Summer is in full swing, and the scorching sun is definitely making things feel more exhausting than usual. And it's not just us feeling the heat, our dear Tieu Ca is going through even more. She's in the final months of her pregnancy, and with the summer weather weighing down on her, every step gets a little heavier. But as always, life has a way of surprising us. Even on a tiring day like this, there might be something unexpected waiting around the corner. So what will happen today? Will it be a quiet afternoon or a day full of twists and turns? Stick around, you won't want to miss it. After a few unexpected summer rain showers, the sun returned in full force, bringing back the sticky heat of the season. On a day like this, most people would stay inside and rest, but not Tieu Ca. Today, she left little Han with her grandmother so she could head up into the hills alone and pick fresh squash vines to sell. Despite being in the final months of pregnancy, Tieu Ca carried her basket and climbed halfway up the hill, determined to collect the best, most tender greens she could find. It wasn't easy. Her body was heavy, her steps slower, and the heat relentless. But she kept going, carefully picking the freshest shoots she knew would sell for a higher price. Over time, she filled a large basket and gathered another bundle in her arms. Once she made her way back down to the foot of the hill, she found a shady spot under a tree. Sitting there, she began to sort and tie the vines into neat little bundles, preparing them for delivery to a few regular veggie stalls in the market, since the full market wasn't operating today. When she arrived at the vendor's stand, she handed over the vegetables to the owner, exchanged a few kind words, and turned to head back home. But halfway through her walk, with the sun now high in the sky, her stomach reminded her she hadn't eaten anything all morning. Tired and a little lightheaded, she stopped by a small roadside eatery, ordered a hot bowl of rice noodle, and sat down to finally enjoy her first meal of the day. Moments like these, quiet, simple, and full of quiet strength, remind us just how much love and effort goes into the daily lives of people like Tieu Ca. Her resilience, even in the heat and while expecting a child, is quietly powerful. After finishing her simple but satisfying bowl of rice noodle, Tieu Ca wiped her brow, stood up, and decided to stop by her soon-to-be-finished house. The place was finally starting to come together, a small home she could call her own. Today, Hmong had gone up early to install a new water faucet for the pipe he helped her connect just the day before. When she arrived, Hmong was still hard at work. Bent over the plumbing, sweat glistening on his brow, he didn't hear her footsteps. "Are you almost done?" she asked softly. Startled, he turned around with a tired smile. "Almost there," he said. "Just give me a few more minutes." She sat down nearby, watching him finish up, and soon the two of them were chatting about life, the house, and the baby on the way. "It's getting close to noon," Hmong said, glancing at the sky. "Why don't you come rest at my place for a bit? I've actually got something I want to talk to you about." Tieu Ca hesitated for a moment, then nodded. "All right, that sounds nice." The two of them hopped on his motorbike and rode down the dusty path together, the breeze offering a bit of relief from the summer heat. When they arrived, Hmong poured her a cool glass of water. She sat down, grateful for the shade and the break. Then he spoke, gently but with purpose. "I called a doctor from the town clinic to come by today," he began. "I wanted them to check up on you. You're getting close to your due date, and I think it's time we start talking seriously about where you'll give birth." Tieu Ca looked surprised. "Oh, I didn't know you were thinking about that already." "I've been thinking about it for a while," Hmong said. "I want you to consider using a maternity care package. It's safer, more comfortable, and you'll be in good hands, from prenatal checkups to delivery, and even postpartum care." Tieu Ca's voice was quiet. "I've never used anything like that before. Even when I had Han, it wasn't like that. I just went to the clinic when it was time." There was a pause. Hmong's expression softened. He walked over and sat beside her. "I know, and that's exactly why I want to do this differently this time. You've done everything alone for so long, but now I'm here. Let me take care of you." She looked down at her hands, then back up at him. "Isn't it expensive? I mean, something like that must cost a lot." "Don't worry," he said calmly. "It's not as bad as you think. And besides, you're not alone in this anymore. I'll cover it. I want to." Her eyes welled with tears. No one had ever offered her that kind of care before, not during her first pregnancy, not even during some of her hardest days. The idea that someone had thought ahead, made plans for her well-being, and even arranged for a doctor to come. It overwhelmed her. She cried not because she was sad, but because for the first time in a long time she felt seen, valued. They talked for a while longer about what kind of support she'd need, when the baby might come, and how they could prepare everything in time. Soon the doctor arrived, a kind woman from the clinic downtown, carrying her medical kit. She greeted Tieu Ca warmly, then gently checked her pulse, listened to her breathing, asked about the baby's movements, and gave her a thorough prenatal exam. Everything looked good. The baby was healthy, but the doctor agreed with Hmong it was time to prepare for delivery, and doing so with a professional care package would be the best choice. She explained the options: standard care, upgraded rooms, extra postnatal support, and answered every question patiently. Tieu Ca listened closely, occasionally glancing at Hmong, who nodded reassuringly at her. By the end of the visit, she made her decision. She'd go with the care package. Not because it was fancy, not because it was what everyone else was doing, but because someone had shown her she was worth it, that her health, her safety, and her peace of mind mattered. As the doctor packed up and prepared to leave, Tieu Ca walked her to the door and thanked her sincerely. Back inside, she sat with Hmong in quiet reflection. The day had started like any other, hot, tiring, filled with errands and responsibilities. But it ended with something she hadn't expected: a sense of hope, a glimpse of a better tomorrow, and someone who would walk with her into it, not because he had to, but because he chose to. As the sun dipped lower and the afternoon light softened, Tieu Ca sat quietly beside Hmong, her heart full. The simple moments of the day, climbing the hill, harvesting vines, eating a humble bowl of noodles, had led to something much deeper, the beginning of a new chapter. For so long, she had carried everything on her own, but now someone was sharing the weight, not just in words, but through action, care, and quiet understanding. Hmong didn't promise grand things. He didn't try to change her world overnight. Instead, he showed up, thoughtful, steady, and kind. And for Tieu Ca, that meant more than anything. It wasn't just about the baby or the house or even the medical support. It was about being seen, being heard, and finally being supported. Sometimes the greatest love isn't loud or dramatic. It shows itself in the way someone makes space for your well-being, in how they think ahead, not for themselves, but for you. And as Tieu Ca looked toward the weeks ahead, she knew one thing for sure. This time, she wouldn't be facing it alone. That quiet truth made all the difference.
Xin chào các bạn, chào mừng đã quay trở lại. Hôm nay thời tiết có phần oi bức hơn thường lệ. Mùa hè ở đất nước tôi đang vào thời cao điểm, với những đợt nắng gắt như muốn thiêu đốt mọi thứ. Ngày nóng khiến ai cũng cảm thấy mệt mỏi, và Tieu Ca cũng không ngoại lệ. Nhưng với cô, sự mệt mỏi ấy dường như tăng lên gấp bội, bởi cô đang ở những tháng cuối của thai kỳ. Liệu hôm nay có điều gì bất ngờ xảy ra? Hãy cùng tôi theo dõi. Sau một cơn mưa rào bất chợt, thứ đặc sản của mùa hè, trời bắt đầu hừng nắng, mang theo cái nóng hầm hập khắp không gian. Hôm nay Tieu Ca gửi bé Han ở nhà bà ngoại để một mình lên núi hái rau bí đem về bán. Đã lớn, cơ thể nặng nề, nhưng cô vẫn kiên cường trèo lên lưng chừng quả đồi, chọn những ngọn rau bí tươi ngon nhất. Những vệt mồ hôi lấm tấm trên trán không làm cô chùn bước. Với cô, mỗi bó rau là thêm một phần chi phí sinh hoạt, lo lắng cho cô và con gái. Sau gần cả buổi sáng, Tieu Ca cũng hái được một gùi đầy, cùng thêm một ôm rau nữa. Khi xuống đến chân đồi, cô ngồi nghỉ ngơi dưới tán cây mát rượi, tranh thủ buộc sau thành từng bó gọn gàng, chuẩn bị đi giao cho các quầy rau quen thuộc dưới chợ.